Hey there, welcome to Treadmill Review Guru. Today we're going to take a look at the NordicTrack SE9i Elliptical. So this is one of NordicTrack's rear wheel drive ellipticals, which means the flywheel is at the back of the machine. And what that does is it allows the front of the console to fold down so that you can store it vertically. It also has 24 resistance levels and inclines to 10 levels of incline. So you can kind of target different muscle areas as you're working out. You'll also get full body engagement with both upper body and lower body. So let's take a look at who it's best suited for. So the NordicTrack SE9i is best suited for people who want a low impact, quiet workout. So as you know, with ellipticals, there's very limited foot impact. Your foot kind of rests gently there on the pedal and it just glides back and forth. So this is really good for people with limited mobility or maybe some joint issues, back concerns, where you really need a low impact workout. It also works really well for anyone who's looking for full body engagement. Because the pedals move both back and forth and the handles are synchronized as well, you can engage both upper body and lower body while you're getting that workout, which is really nice and just kind of a little different than you would get on a treadmill or a bike because you get that upper body engagement. It also does fold down. So it is a rather large machine, but you can collapse the top down. So if you're looking for something that maybe you can tuck behind a couch or put along a wall or something, it works well in that regard. It also does have a 7-inch touchscreen that is iFit enabled. So you get the full iFit experience on this machine with that automated control and your full library of workouts. There are a few things to be aware of. So we do not recommend this for people who have very limited space issues because even though you can drop the top down, it still has a very large footprint. Also, it's really nice that it has that 7-inch touchscreen, but it can be a touch small. So if you have vision issues or anything else, that touchscreen can be just a little bit small, and because a lot of the buttons are embedded in the touchscreen, they can be hard to see and press. So just a few things to be aware of, but let's dive in and take a closer look at construction. Okay, so let's take a look at the overall construction of the NordicTrack SE9i. So as you can see right here, I have it inclined. So I've lifted it all the way up to that level 10 incline, and you can see that it kind of indicates what muscle groups you're working at different levels. So when it's lower, you're working more calves and anterior. When you raise it just about midway, then it's more hamstrings, and all the way up, you've got full quad engagement. So it just kind of lets you know what muscle groups you're working there. And you can see it lifts quite high off the ground. So I've measured this, and the full footprint when it is completely open, it's 79 inches long. So it takes up a bit of space this way, but it's only 32 inches wide, which really isn't bad. When it is not inclined, it's 66 inches high. And when it is inclined, it raises to about 78 inches high, 79 inches high, something like that. So it really does require some overhead clearance. So that's why we recommend this for people who have the space to accommodate this machine. It will fold up, but it only folds down vertically. So the footprint is pretty much the same. And then when it's open, you've got to make sure that you've got that overhead clearance. So one thing I really like about this machine is that it has a very solid construction. Even though it folds in half, it feels very sturdy. You can see the tubing right here. This steel tubing is thick and it's really durable. I also like the pedal supports underneath, and they move in conjunction with the handles so that you have a synchronized motion between the handles and the pedals. Also, the pedals can move both forward and backwards, so you can walk like you were walking in a straight line, or you can move it the opposite direction. So it will go either way, which is another thing. I also like that this has 2 sets of handles, so that's another thing to consider. When you're getting on and off an elliptical, the pedals are not stationary and you cannot lock them into position. So they're gonna move a little bit when you step up on that machine. So having those stationary handles really makes it nice when you're getting on and off. I measured this, and when this is fully inclined, the higher pedal lifts to about 25 inches off the ground. So we recommend a minimum of a generous 2.5 feet of overhead clearance, in addition to the height of the user, right? So just make sure you have enough space. So I'm gonna drop this back down, and you can kind of listen to it decline. It doesn't make very much noise. You got a little bit of motor noise, but it's only when it's inclining or declining. It's not when you're using the machine itself or moving the handles. So as it drops back down, you can see that it moves from up here. You got your motor system up here, and this is just kind of tucked up under the front, which is nice because it centers the weight just a little bit underneath you as you use the console. You'll notice that you have a front stabilizer right here, and this is all steel, and you do have transport wheels both at the front and the back. So these wheels back here, they don't connect with the floor unless you lift and tip the machine, so you're not going to have any problems with stability when you're on the machine, but you do have the option to move it when it's folded. So when you drop it all the way back down to that flat incline, so I'm all the way back down, the step up height right here to the lower pedal is only 12 inches. So it's not much more than on a treadmill, which makes it really pretty easy to get on and off. And the best way to get on is always to hold on to those stationary handles, step up on the lower pedal, and then step up on the higher pedal. That's the easiest way to get on. Let me show you real quick a few things about this one. So the way that you fold it is you release this lever. I had it in there nice and tight until it comes all the way out, and you can pull it. See how you can pull that pin out? So we're gonna pull that pin out, and I'm gonna use the stationary handlebars to pull it down. Now it also has a safety latch back here you have to release, and then using those stationary handles, I'm gonna gently rest it down. If I use the rotating handles, they'll move just a little bit. So when you're collapsing it down or when you're lifting it up, make sure you grab the stationary handles. And you can see there's your locking mechanism right there. Back here, what you have is a footed system. So this looks like a vent, but what it is it's a foot back here, and you also have them right here on the rear stabilizers. You can store it horizontally, or you can store it vertically. However, the machine weighs about 215 pounds, so it is difficult to lift. I'm gonna see if I can do it. So grab the steel grab bar down here, and you're gonna lift it, and it will come all the way up to rest on those feet. So if you want to, you can store it vertically like that. But as you can see, it's rather difficult to lift. It is heavy. And when you're lowering it back down, you have to make sure you can manage that weight as well. There you go. So while it does fold up, this isn't a machine that we recommend using or planning to move very often. You're gonna wanna set it up where you want it and leave it there. Okay, let me show you the pedals real quick. So one other thing I like about these pedals is they have this core cushioning system, and you can see that the pedal is raised with a nice little air pocket underneath, which actually provides you quite a bit of comfort when you're on the pedal. These pedals are 15 inches long and plenty wide. They're like 8 inches wide. So you've got plenty of room, and you also have a nice ledge around the inside so that your foot isn't gonna shift off or go too far forward or too far back. But it's open on the side that you're gonna step up, so you don't have to step over that ridge, which is nice. The other thing is you can adjust the height, or the angle, I should say, of the pedal. So back here, there's a pin, and I can lift it. You have 3 different notches. So I can increase the angle of that pedal, I can drop it down to medium, or I can take it all the way flat. So that allows you a little bit of customization when you're working at an incline. You can adjust those pedals a little bit to make sure that you're not angling down on your toes too much. The SE9i comes with a 10-year warranty on the frame. You get 2 years on parts and 1 year on labor. Okay, so here's the console. And between the SE9i and the SE7i, the biggest differences really are found in the console. So the first thing I want to show you is it does come with an included tablet holder, and it has this adjustable clip up here at the top. So if you have a tablet or even a phone, you can drop it right in there, and it's easy to see from the machine. And the adjustable clip really does hold it securely, so that's nice. The other thing that's different is the console layout is completely different. So it's not like this is the same console and they've just swapped out the screen. The design is different. And I prefer this one because I find it a little simpler to use. So your incline settings are here on the left, and they go up, they don't jump by 2. You got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So anyway, it'll jump you up there. And then over here it's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 15, 18, 21, and 24. So on the right is your resistance and on the left is your incline. And I'm not sure if you can see it from there, but up here on the top of these handles, you also have adjustable buttons. The left is incline and the right is resistance. So that makes it, when you're up there, it's very intuitive to just change things really quickly. You also have these stationary handles, which, as far as I'm concerned, are a really important safety feature when getting on and off an elliptical machine, because your pedals do not lock into position. As you'll notice, you do have a touch screen. So this is just a little 7-inch touch screen. And it's got nice color, and it's really pretty easy to see. Unless you have limited vision, it can be just a little small. So that's just one thing to be aware of. Sometimes, like the buttons down here, you can see the control touch buttons in the touch screen are a little smaller simply because the screen is smaller. But it does tilt, so you can find the right adjustment and you can eliminate any overhead glare. It is also Bluetooth compatible. So you can take your phone and sync your phone with the machine, and then you can play your music through the speakers, or you can listen to the iFit trainers and the music through the speakers as well. It does have a fan, and I like the fact that the fan can be adjusted. So the position can be turned up if you've got a taller user, or if you want it more up on your face, or you can turn it down if you want it directed more towards your neck. And then down here you have manual buttons for resistance and incline. So if you're at a preset metric and you just want to touch it up just a little bit, you can use those manual buttons down there at the bottom. Right here on the left, this is where we turn on the fan. So I'm going to turn it on. It has 4 settings. It has low, and that's medium, and it'll show you up there on the touchscreen where you are. And this is high, and then the 4th setting is auto, which, because I'm not doing anything, it's just going to turn it off. Auto is correlated to how hard you're working. So the harder you work, the higher that fan will go. And then I can just turn it off using the same button, or you can adjust it up there in the touchscreen. So, and over here on the right, you have your volume. So if I'm watching an iFit workout, I can adjust the volume right there. And it's the same. If you Bluetooth your music through the speakers, you can adjust the music on your phone, or you can adjust it right there as well. So you can see right here on the upright stationary handlebars, these panels are heart rate sensors. So if I hold right there, it will show my heart rate up on the screen while I'm working out. And down here, just below the console, you have a water bottle pocket. This is very small. So we were able to find a narrow water bottle that would fit in there, but it wouldn't hold my blender bottle. So larger water bottles are not going to fit in that. Okay, so let's take a look at the overall functionality. As I mentioned, when you get on the machine, make sure that you always step on the lower pedal first, holding onto the stationary handles, and then up on the top. So the moving pedals work in conjunction with the upright handles. So you have a nice synchronized motion. And as I mentioned, you can push forward as if you were walking, or you can go backward if you want to target different muscles, which just kind of adds a little bit of variability. You also have the option of pulling more with your arms while my feet just kind of glide along, not doing a lot of the work. Or I can just focus on lower body, push with my legs and hang on to the stationary handlebars, or I can balance it out and do both. So that's kind of your options as far as more upper body, more lower body, or more balanced. The pedals are nice and comfortable, and they have just a little bit of an angle, which reduces the problem of numbness. Because you never actually lift your foot up off the pedal like you do on a treadmill, ellipticals can have a problem where you get numb toes and stuff. So the way that the pedals have been designed is to reduce that. So the SE9i is very similar to the SE7i. They're priced very similarly, and they have a very similar frame. There's a few distinctions that separate the two. One that I really like on the SE9i is at the top of these moving handlebars, you have adjustment for both incline and resistance. So incline is on the left and resistance is on the right. So if I've got my hands up here on the top, I don't have to take my hands off to adjust the resistance, to adjust the incline if I don't want to. You can see I'm inclining it just by using the control on the top of that handle. The other thing is the incline, there's a little bit of motor noise as it inclines, but there's no motor noise or any type of friction noise with the resistance. So right now I'm at 0 resistance. Let's go to 10. So you can hear those magnets move just for a second, but then as I move back and forth, There's no impact noise, no thudding like you would get from a treadmill, and there's no resistance noise. It's nice and smooth. And it doesn't matter what level of resistance I'm on. It's not like it's going to make more noise. I'll jump up to level 24. So it gets noticeably more challenging, but it doesn't make any more noise. All right, the other thing that's different about the SE7i and the SE9i is the 9i has quick touch buttons for both incline and resistance, which makes it nice. The SE7i only has buttons for resistance. You have to hit the incline button every time to get it to move up and down. So that's a difference. The other thing is it comes with a nice little ledge here, and you do have that 7-inch touchscreen. So you have more integrated functionality in the console itself. So as you can see, there's a lot of things that we really like about the SE9i, and it really has a lot of integration that makes it work really well for people who want something that's low impact. So a few things that we really like about it. I like the fact that it's very quiet. So people are often asking questions, and one of their biggest concerns is how much noise is this going to make? Is it going to bother roommates, people that I live with, upstairs or downstairs neighbors? This you can use, and it's very quiet. So it just doesn't create any impact noise, and it doesn't have a lot of motor noise. The other thing is you do have the incline, which is built in. So, and that's automated. You have 10 levels of incline, so you can target different muscle groups as you work up or back, and you have 24 resistance levels. The resistance is magnetically generated, so it doesn't create any noise. There's a little bit of noise as those magnets move backwards and forwards to increase or decrease the resistance, but it's only for a second. But there's no noise as you're pedaling. The other thing is the 18-pound flywheel at the back of the machine kind of balances the weight of the machine. So you feel really stable when you're on it. And that's another thing that I really like. You can collapse the front down and store it horizontally. And as I demonstrated, you can lift it and store it vertically. It's just more challenging. So this is a heavy machine. And that's one thing that we do want people to be aware of, is make sure that you have enough space for this machine. Because even if you fold it down, it still has quite a big footprint. It weighs about 215 pounds, so it's not easy to move. And you've got to make sure that you have enough overhead clearance when you're up on the machine to account for that incline. So that's just a few things to be aware of. In general, we're really impressed with the machine, and I really like the warranty, and I especially like the fact that this will support users up to 325 pounds. So it makes it a really good option for larger users and people that are looking for something low impact. So for a full written review, make sure and check us out at treadmillreviewguru.com. For current pricing, click the link below. And as always, if you liked our video, make sure to give us a thumbs up and subscribe.